Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV. It's November 15th, 2012. I'm Logan Burgess. Joining me to my right here is Cody Bills. Well, Cody, let's jump into firetip. Take a look at how the grains ended the day here on a Thursday. Soybeans for the January contract down 15 1/4 here. Corn down 5. We had Chicago wheat backing off 5 1/4. Kansas City wheat dropping 7.5 cents in today's action. I know this morning on the morning grain call, you and I were talking about soybeans in particular, this $14 level. There were certainly some bears in this market. Couldn't push it down through 14 though. Kind of break down what we saw today. What's kind of your take on this market?
Well, if you take a look at the price action throughout the day, it was kind of orderly selling. We saw a move down in the very first part of the day.
Right.
We consolidated. We took another move down. We consolidated another one. So, to me, I look at this, I think it was a very directional trade today. We didn't get down around $14 until the later part of the day, so we really didn't have any time to find out whether or not that really is a support level.
Right.
We closed out near our lows. I would expect us tomorrow to really start trading around 14, see if it has any support. Quite frankly, I think we're going to go through it. The next price level is $13.91. That's where the low that we printed a couple days ago. And then below that, we have the long-term trend line right around $13.69-ish.
Right. If you're a producer right now, Cody, sitting on unpriced 13, 14 crop, are you thinking about pulling the trigger right now on some sales, or are you going to wait for confirmation that we're selling here with a little bit more conviction?
Well, we've come off a long way from the very top.
Right.
If you didn't like those prices at the top, we've come down an awful long way. We're so close to that long-term trend line. I would want to see whether or not that's going to hold because we have good domestic demand. We have good foreign demand. We have tight stocks. I would suspect that this longer-term trend line, if you look here at the daily chart, this long-term trend line is most likely going to hold here.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if it didn't. But, I do think that tomorrow we're going to have perhaps kind of a choppy trade around $14, and we may get down there in the next couple days. Maybe it's a week or so.
Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Turning our attention here to corn. Corn and wheat did have a relatively quiet day today. Not a lot of new fundamental news out for corn or wheat. We did get the EIA ethanol production numbers out today. If we pull this up real quick and take a look, we did have 824,000 barrels per day reported there for production. That was off 3,000 barrels per day from last week's report. But if you take a look here at our model, this is really the green line here is the pace needed to reach the USDA's projected corn going to ethanol throughout the marketing year here. So it was a strong showing here today. Nothing that was really going to rally the market, but it was good to see. I think one thing in general that's been hanging over this corn market is the decision by the EPA to waive the ethanol blending mandate. They're expected to release that any day here now. So certainly, if the EPA comes out and does remove the mandating blending of ethanol in fuels, that's going to really hurt the demand scenario for corn here moving forward. In our opinion, they're not going to waive this mandate. We saw in 2008 there were calls for it as well. Obviously, this last growing season was substantially different than 2008. But in our opinion, it will be there. But certainly, bears in the market are kind of betting on that chip right now, I guess.
Yeah. So if there is mandate restrictions lifted, that would be very negative for the market, and there's a good chance we could see some couple days of hard selling.
Yeah, absolutely. Roughly 40% of corn does go to ethanol production. So without this mandate, that would severely take demand out of this market. As we said, we're going to have to keep an eye on it here moving forward.
That sounds fair enough. Let's actually take a look at wheat. We just covered beans. We covered corn. Now let's take a look at wheat. Right now, in terms of technically where we stand, I talked about it in the morning call. We were looking at 843 1/4 as a support level.
Yeah.
We ended up closing right on at 843 1/2. I think tomorrow or in this overnight session, we're going to open up. We're going to immediately be testing that support.
Right.
There's a good chance, considering the outside markets, there's a good chance, and considering the fact where we are within this range, we could break through that and move lower. I think the low side of this channel is going to hold, though. And I think that because there's fundamentals really right now to back it up. Not only do we have production concerns out of Australia, but also we just heard today from Egypt's gas that Ukraine is no longer going to be exporting grain to them. So Egypt is taking them off of the list of suppliers for them. Ukraine was a competitor of ours. We lost a lot of sales to the Black Sea region. The fact that they're no longer going to be really in the market as a major competitor, and the fact that Russia has exported a significant amount of their surplus already, I think the second half of this marketing year, the U.S. is going to do pretty good in terms of their wheat sales.
Certainly. Well, we're going to get a little indication of that tomorrow. Normally we do get the export sales report on Thursday each week. That was bumped back a day due to Veterans Day there on Monday. So we'll be getting that report out tomorrow. We'll certainly break down the numbers. We have models for corn and soybeans. We'll be analyzing those numbers in detail tomorrow. I think that wraps up our show here, though, for Thursday afternoon on GrainTV. Visit us at grainhedge.com to catch the morning grain call tomorrow morning. That wraps up our show, though. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow.